Welcome to Reading the Bible with Pastor. Today we're on Genesis chapter 37, starting at verse 12. Last time we read, we found out that Joseph, is a dreamer, and he had dreams that kind of put his brothers at unease. We'll see what they do with him. Now his brothers went to pasture their father's flock near Shechem, and Israel said to Joseph, "Are not your brothers pasturing the flock at Shechem? Come, I will send you to them." And he said to him, "Here I am." So he said to him, "Go now, see if it is well with your brothers and with the flock, and bring me word." So he sent him from the valley of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a man found him wandering the fields. And the man asked him, "What are you seeking?" "I'm seeking my brothers," he said. "Tell me, please, where they are pasturing the flock." And the man said, "They have gone away, for I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them at Dothan. Dothan is about 17 miles away from Shechem, and that would be a fairly good journey for a 17-year-old young man. They saw him from afar, and before he came near to them, he conspired against him to kill him. They said to one another, "Here comes this dreamer." And here, dreamer literally means master of dreams, so sarcasm here. "Come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits. Then we will say that a fierce animal has devoured him, and we will see what will become of his dreams." But Reuben heard of it. Reuben is the firstborn of Jacob. He rescued him out of their hands, saying, "Let us not take his life." And Reuben said to them, "Shed no blood. Throw him down in this pit here in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him, that he might rescue him out of their hand to restore him to his father." So Reuben doesn't want them to kill Joseph, so he tells them to put him down into a pit, and he would come back later to rescue him out of it. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him his robe, the robe of many colors that he wore, and they took him and threw him into a pit. The pit was empty, there was no water in it. When they sat down to eat, and looking up, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead, and their camels bearing gum, ball, and myrrh, on their way to carry it down to Egypt. The Ishmaelites, from their father Ishmael, this is the nation of Ishmael, and as promised by God, and this would be their great uncle's family, so family affair going on here. When Judah said to his brothers, "What profit is it if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hands be upon him, for he is our brother, our own flesh." And his brothers listened to him. Then Midianite traders passed by, and they drew Joseph up, and lifted him up out of the pit, and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver. They took Joseph to Egypt. That 20 shekels of silver selling their brother for that reminds us of Matthew chapter 26 and Judas betraying Jesus, starting at verse 14. Then one of the 12, whose name was Judas Iscariot, came to the chief priests and said, "What will you give me if I deliver him over to you?" And they paid him 30 pieces of silver. And from that moment he sought an opportunity to betray him. So this story reminds us and foreshadows that selling and betraying of Jesus. When Reuben returned to the pit and saw Joseph was not in the pit, he tore his clothes and returned to his brothers and said, "The boy is gone, and where shall I go?" Then they took Joseph's robe and slaughtered a goat and dipped the robe in the blood. And they sent the robe of many colors and brought it to their father and said, "This we have found. Please identify whether it is your son's robe or not." And he identified it and said, "It is my son's robe. A fierce animal has devoured him. Joseph is without doubt torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his garments and put sackcloth on his loins and mourned for his son many days. The tearing of your cloak is a sign of mourning. And his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted and said, "No, I shall go down to Sheol to my son mourning." Thus his father wept for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites had sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard. Joseph's story is not done. We'll see what happens. We do see that this is the way that Joseph made his way to Egypt. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers. We'll pick up next time with Genesis chapter 38, and as always, please subscribe and share this with others.